flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. All right. So, Ola, if you can go ahead and show us at 6:30 for us to go ahead. This is a notice of public hearing. City Council, City of Lytle, Texas will hold a public hearing on Monday, September the 26th, 2022 at 6:30 p.m. on the proposed budget for fiscal year 2022 to 2023. This public hearing will be held at Lytle City Hall located at 14916 Main Street. So this is an opportunity that we're going to go ahead and open up, see if there's any addressing on the public hearing. And we're actually going to need to go ahead and do a modification, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. But we're still going to conduct this today in case anybody that saw it on the website and some of the other places that we actually send it out, see if they want to step up here. Okay, don't have anybody? Okay. So Paola, if we can actually go ahead and show that. So let's go ahead and close the public hearing. It's at 6:31. And let's go ahead and move on to the call of the order of the regular meeting. And it is 6:32. We can go ahead and do that, and I will go ahead and turn it over for the roll call.
District 1, Alderman Joseph Morrow. I don't know if he's coming in or not.
Not here. He's here.
District 2, Sam Cortez. District 3, David Emery.
Present.
District 4, Michael Rodriguez.
Here.
District 5, Charles Gate. And he's here. I don't know if you can hear us.
Charles, can you hear us? Charles, can you hear us now? Okay.
All right. All right. We got everybody all good? All right. So let's go ahead and move on to item number 4, citizens to be heard. Do we have any citizens that would like to come and speak related to anything that is not on the agenda? No? Okay. We'll go ahead and move on. We'll go ahead and move on to item number 5, which is consent agenda, and consider the approval of the payments of the bills. So, council, go ahead. Yeah, we can do that. Can I get a motion for us to go ahead and?
Yeah, I move that we delay that until the copies are made.
Okay. A second. Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so we'll come back to the consent agenda. Let's go ahead and go to item number 6, the open session, and take action items. So we'll go ahead and jump into A, is consider and act upon the advanced funding agreement for transportation alternatives set aside TASA program project TxDOT selected on and off system.
So council, this is the TxDOT project, or I'm sorry, the sidewalk grant that the city was awarded several months ago. We were waiting for the certificates of obligation money to be finalized because that's how we're paying for this. We officially need to approve it. Once we approve it within 60 days, I got the notes there. I think we have to make a $60,000 payment to TxDOT, and then within 90 days of them bidding it or something like that, it's the remainder 380, $380 something thousand we have to pay. And that's it. It's not a project we have to oversee. We have to bid. We have to do. We're just going to pay TxDOT, and they're going to oversee all the sidewalk construction. I don't know how many people were familiar with the construction or what we're actually doing over there, so I printed some pictures if you wanted to see. They're not the greatest. Let me zoom through them here. we'll start with, this is Prairie Street. So Prairie Street runs in front of the primary school. And on that one, we are going to do, let me get over here to Prairie Street, sorry. That is blue, so it's a proposed 6-foot sidewalk. So it is a 1,600 linear feet of 6-foot sidewalk on both sides of the roadway from Cottage to Laredo. 10 new detachable warning surfaces at the street crossings, 5 replacement marked crosswalks with stop bars, installation of pedestrian crossing signs on the north and south uncontrolled approaches of Prairie Streets and Cottage, and upgrade to all the signage, always stop controlled intersection at Prairie and Laredo. You go to the next photo. It pops up here next. That's Cottage, sorry. On Cottage Street, we're doing 2,650 linear feet of 6-foot wide sidewalk on both sides of the roadway from FM 2790 to Prairie Street. It's going to have 18 new detachable warning surfaces at the street crossings, 4 new and 1 replacement marked crosswalks with stop bars, and upgrading the stop signs at the always stop controlled intersection of Cottage Street at Easy Street. The next one. Keep going to FM 2790. One more. Open up number 2. Go to 2. There's FM 2790. So this is the big one here. It is 2,200 linear feet of 12-foot wide shared use path on the west side of the roadway from Bloom Drive to the Lytle High School second entrance. That's huge. That's running from railroad tracks when you turn on 27, and from the railroad tracks all the way up past the second entrance to the school, 12-foot wide. Then we're doing 1,200 linear feet of 6-foot wide sidewalk on the east side of the roadway from Cottage Street to Laredo Street. Then we're going to do 75 linear feet of 6-foot sidewalk on the southeast corner of FM 2790 in Laredo to provide a direct connection to the elementary school. That's that little short section you see that'll get them once they cross the street at 2790 into that first driveway they have for the buses. It'll have 8 new detachable warning surfaces at the street crossing, 1 new and 2 replacement marked crosswalks with stop bars, and proposed concrete median to reinforce the stop controlled approach and the channelized westbound right turn on the Laredo Street at 2790. So we've held this for a while because of that funding, and TxDOT's aware.
What are the stop bars you're talking about?
I don't really know. So the stop bars is, I'm assuming that's probably the painted deal. This is a project, Charles. I don't know if maybe you can speak on what those stop bars were. This is a TxDOT Kimley Horn project. I'm assuming it's probably the bar that's painted across the road. Is that what it is, James? The white bar that gets painted across?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. There we go.
Yeah, it's just the painted on the roadway,
Okay. The big white.
not the stop bar.
Yeah. Big white. Okay.
Zebra stripes, right?
No, it'd be a solid white bar. So
Okay.
when you pull up to an intersection, you have the stop sign, and then right there is a white bar
Oh,
that
yeah,
gets painted in the
yeah,
road.
got it.
I just wanted to make sure I was speaking correctly on that. So it's a lot of work. It's 1.5 million, I believe, total. Cost the city 400. I have to look there. Was 400 and something thousand. So it's a
Wow.
great deal.
Yeah, 380.
Yep.
Hey,
And-
Charles, got a question for you just for clarification. And first of all, hey, thanks for joining us. I appreciate it, especially being deployed, joining us for the meeting. Are we actually going all the way from the library down Bloom Drive on that project? Or are they stopping at the library? I know we've had different discussions on that.
I believe that it's from Blue Drive there.
So,
I know, whenever we had done the preliminary plans, we talked about, on the east side of 2790 going to Blue Drive, but I think we finally, the final project was from Cottage, north along 2790, down the eastern side there of,
So
2790.
so
So
the close-
nothing that goes up to Laredo Street, I believe.
so the closest entrance to the railroad?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
That's correct.
thank you.
Any other questions on that's what we're doing over there? And it was a great project that's going to give our kids a spot to walk safely on either side of that road. It is quite hairy already if you're a kid walking down. You're going to walk in a bar ditch, and if it's raining, you're in the mud. Or you get up on the roadway and take a chance of getting hit. So it's a great project. It's just something that, we need to approve and keep moving forward.
The only thing I would probably say is we'll just need to work very closely with TxDOT or their contractors.
Mhm.
I know some of the places where they're going to be putting the sidewalks, we have some utilities, so we'll need to address, those locations just to make sure. So
In talking with Kimley Horn, the engineer that drew this project up, they're aware of those and said it's not going to impact them. They would be under that sidewalk though. So if we ever do have a leak, we'll be tearing up sidewalk. We don't have any, at this current time, there's nothing budgeted for moving utilities as part of this project.
So, we've talked about valves. We'll talk about it, but there's certain things that we need to make sure that the engineer, make sure that we keep things exposed in certain parts, depending on where they're going. So,
Okay, yeah.
yeah, we'll just talk about it.
Okay.
Important stuff. Okay. Council?
I think in this area, especially right there where the rain and when the rain regard it's flooded. It's
No, yeah, definitely. It's if you just look at the map in that area of, whether it's athletics or whether it's the band, or the kids after school going over to the library, it just gives the opportunity for them. And then connecting points for the school district in that whole area, it definitely does provide. And for the residents that are there too. And also for them to take advantage. We have a few more sidewalks. We've talked about being very limited on sidewalks in a very congested area of our city. That would be a good thing for us to be able to do.
Yes, sir. Provides an increased safety margin too for our kids walking between campuses on, what's typically a 4-foot wide side. Now they're getting a 6-foot wide sidewalk, and we've got actual pedestrian enhancements in the area, in the intersections.
Okay.
So you need a motion on that?
Yes, sir. We sure do.
Well, I move that we approve the advance funding agreement for transportation alternative set aside program project TxDOT selected runoff system.
Okay. We got a second. Any further discussion? Okay. All those in favor? Any opposed?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Approve that. All right, council, I think we're going to go ahead and if we can just go ahead and shift, we'll go ahead and go back to item number 5, consent agenda. Consider the approval of the payment of the bills. So if you can please take a look at those.
Yeah, okay.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve the city bills, payment of the city bill.
Got a motion on the floor? Okay, got a second? Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, appreciate that. So let's go ahead and move back into the open session items. Go to B. Consider and act upon the bids received for city's proposed agreement for municipal brush pickup service.
So we bid that contract again. It was time. We only received one bid. It was from the same contractor we currently use, Hector Burr Construction, at the exact same amount of $52.25 per month. My recommendation, we award the bid back to them, and we work with legal to draw up an actual contract. I couldn't find any contracts we signed with them, and speaking with them, and they said they've never actually received a contract. It was just a signature on the bid agreement. We need to actually have a contract on based off what the bid specs we put out.
Mayor, I make a motion that we award the contract to Hector.
Got a motion on the floor for us to, got a second?
How long do we have this new contract?
It's every year.
Yeah, it's yearly?
Yeah, it's yearly, yes, sir.
Okay, any other discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Thank you. All right. C, consider and act upon contract renewal with Volunteer Fire Department.
It's also that time again to renew the fire department contract. Based off of everything that's going on and some increases, we gave a $1,000 a month increase for the fire department to $102,000 to provide fire protection for the city for the 1 year period.
So the 12 is just basically for additional expenses. It's not like you're bringing in additional person or.
So yeah, so I can tell you on the fire department side, that additional monies allowed for a larger budget for staff. So the
Okay,
fire
good.
department went from 2 paid personnel 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, to now 3 paid personnel 24/7.
Nice.
We're getting better. And that was because of the increases from not only the city, but the other entities the fire department contracts with.
Good.
Can you explain what it is we have with the volunteer fire department and why the word contract is there?
The city does not have a fire department to provide fire protection within the city, so it has to contract with a service provider to provide that service. That is what the fire department does. And based on the contract, they're required to provide fire protection, the emergency response, supply all the equipment, insurances, and everything like that, provide or to respond to the incidents. And then monthly, we give the fire department a stipend in exchange for them turning in paperwork on how many runs they made. So that's what we turn that in every month, and it shows they made this call on this day. This was the case number. This is what they responded to.
And how do they make their money?
The fire department signs contract with several entities: the city of Lytle, Medina County ESD number 5, Atascosa County ESD number 1, and Bexar County ESD number 5. They also receive on the I think it's the water bill here, donations. So if a resident that lives here wants to donate monthly on their water bill, they can add that on. So they get what's called citizens contribution on that. And then any other donations that are sent to the department throughout the year, as well as billing services. So if the fire department responds to a traffic accident or commercial fire, an 18-wheeler crashes or catches fire on the interstate, the fire department can bill for that service to help recoup some of the cost and the wear and tear on the equipment.
Nonprofit.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the fire department is a nonprofit organization, 501c4.
Thank you.
I move that we renew the contract for the Vital Volunteer Fire Department.
Okay, got a motion on the floor?
I'm going to second that.
Got a second? Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Appreciate that. All right, let's go ahead and move on to D. Consider and act upon ordinance 22-10 adopting the budget of City of Lytle, Texas for fiscal year 2022-2023, beginning October the 1st, 2022, and ending September the 30th, 2023, and ordering same fill with the city secretary and county clerk. So we're going to have this as an item for us to go ahead and take into consideration for action. I will tell you, just because we needed to make sure that it was also included in the newspaper, we are going to go ahead and put another hearing together for the next meeting that we're going to have, and we're going to go ahead and come back and re-ratify what we're actually doing today. We did talk to our city attorneys for advice. We reached out to the state also for advice. So we're going to go ahead and press with what we actually have. So I'll turn it over to Matt and Lynette to go ahead and cover this portion of it.
Okay, council. So I'm gonna go. We've talked about this in budget sessions before, so I'm gonna cover the top section. Page 7 on the form that I gave you is our all funds summary. Typically something that is never really produced to the council, but you can see all the different funds we have. We need to go in and clean some of those up. We have quite a few funds, or quite a lot of funds in there that we need to work on. But in total, in all funds the city has, we have $3.4 million sitting in the bank. Over on the budget summary, you can see there just a holistic approach of it. Income of $16,778,898. with a total expense of $16,398,360. The difference is our ARP funds money. We have been told now by the state, we should have already got it, the state's running behind, but we were just told that they are releasing those funds. We have not obligated those funds somewhere within this budget because we are not sure how these projects that we're doing for certificates of obligation, the water, mainly the water expansions we're trying to do, the numbers we got on that were from some time ago. So I'm afraid those budgets or those amounts are going to be higher. So we want to kind of keep that money there and use it anywhere we need within infrastructure. Just a couple quick charts we threw in there. Page 10 and 11 shows the certificates of obligation that we just approved, the 1 million for the streets and sidewalks, and then the 7.5 for the water and sewer information there. On revenues, that's a breakout on the revenues there. So again, that's all of our revenues the city receives. Down at the bottom, typically before we would have a fund. It said fund for animal control, fund for library, and it showed their revenues for each one and it showed their expenses. And they didn't bring in enough revenues to cover their expenses. They should have been under the general fund. So we're moving everything in that direction. So down towards the bottom of that is the revenues for both the library and the animal control. Kind of minuscule based on the whole scheme of things, but we threw those in there. The differences you can see there is the 100s is your general fund, the 120s, the numbers that we start with, the 120s is your library, and the 150s is the animal control. I know there was a question on whether or not one got repeated twice, and it was. And each one has a animal control and library has a list for money-making projects. So they're two different ones.
Yep.
General administration on your expenses, that's how we broke them down. Again, these are a little higher because we're moving things like your volunteer fire department, your ambulance building, things that were, emergency, those things were always under the public safety budget. So it didn't give the police department a true cost of what their budget was. And she's asked that we give him a true cost and he be in charge of actually his budget, knows to a penny what he's approved to spend. That's what this budget does. So administration is what it takes for the three of us, me, Paul, and Lynette, in here, and then those costs for administration. So you can see that the total expense is 1.8 million for that, 231,000. And if you have any questions along the way, please feel free to stop me and I can cover each line item. Into the police budget, you can see there we broke them out. The items that don't have an actual account number next to it is something we gave. So like the police department needed attorney and legal fees. They're going to be fixing their policies this year. So we got to give them a budget. Before, when they did that, it kind of just rolled, I guess, into administration's budget. So this, again, will give a true cost to the police department, and they'll work with our city attorneys to go through and start improving some of those line items. So total cost on the police department expense-wise is $1,068,796.49. There is no line item for the new police cars in there because that won't come out until the next year's budget, because the first payment will be due a year from the date we signed that contract, which now we're being told cars may not even be until May. Municipal court. This one's, a lot of this is going to be new. You're going to see that in the 2021 budget and actual, there's no numbers there because they were convoluted with the police departments. So that's why we separated them. So now you'll see that the actual true expense for municipal court cost us $322,907. That's our actual cost to run the police, or to run municipal court. General fund in your streets and parks. That one's pretty elevated, but that's because we got the $985,000 in there for bond money for the sidewalks and paving of streets. But that total expense is $1,659,967. Community center expenses, $78,600. Your library fund, that's $262,672.50. I think there were some questions on the utilities in some of these funds. They are high. We kept them high even though our expense for the year was lower than what was budgeted, because when you go back and look at, I'd have to go back to each bill for it every month for a year and break each one down and calculate it, because sometimes when those bills come in, prior regime wouldn't break those down appropriately. They would just say, hey, we got a CPS bill for $5,000, credit that to this department, credit that one. and then in the end think, well, it's just a wash, and unfortunately it's. So this year we will actually have true cost on what it cost on utilities and everything. Animal control, you'll see their total expense $313,581. Couple charts there. That covers your general fund. That's your incomes and your expenses in your general fund. Into your water fund, your income, $8,258,516.58. Keep in mind, $6.1 million of that is certificates of obligation money that we've got earmarked for the water projects there. We also got in the ARP funds of $380,000 showing in there. You'll see the increase in your water fees, water fees, impact fees, stuff like that. We're anticipating, number one, the increase in rates that we passed already. And based off the number of homes, these developers are telling us they're still going to build in this coming year. If they don't, or that comes short, we'll just have to amend the budget and go from there. But that's based off their numbers. Water fund expenses, $7,877,910. Again, $6.1 million of that is for the water project, the big water project we're doing there. We're going to be transferring some money. Typically, I'm assuming what they would do at the end of every fiscal year is transfer money at the end of the year in these funds down here, like the water reserve, water acquisition. Sometimes those weren't always done. So you'll see we're actually transferring quite a bit of money, and then we'll be looking at purchasing water rights and stuff like that in the near future. Your gas fund, your income there, $516,530. Nothing big on that. Again, just an increase that we have in our rates, which is the reason for the changes there. Our expenses, $514,730. You'll see some changes here because we had to move some employees around to make the gas fund work. The gas fund in years past didn't always make budget, so we adjusted that by moving higher paid employees out of a lower income fund and moving those employees around. So that way the budget actually is a wash there. Your sewer fund income, $2,497,165. Even $1.4 million of that is certificates of obligation money. And then your expenses total $2.4 million or $2,497,165. Again, $1.4 million is for the consulting and engineering for the design of the sewer plant expansion. And these are numbers that we received from our engineers on what those costs would be. So it's the best estimates and stuff. We come up with those bigger numbers. I know that's kind of a quick rundown of it. It's been on our website. Everybody's had it. We've done a couple budget meetings on it. So I'll entertain any questions, Lynette, if there's anybody has.
Lynette, anything? Okay. See if we have anything. I do want to, if you have any questions or anything to bring up, I do want to go ahead and thank you guys for all the work on that. It's been an extremely busy session. I don't think, and Sam, you've been here, that this budget and everything else that we've been doing, especially with the certificate of obligations, we've had a lot more on the plate to try to go ahead and take care of this. So appreciate everything that we've been doing.
This is actually, and the best I can tell by looking at the state law, everything the budget's supposed to have in it to present to council. Maybe some in the past didn't always have it. So we're trying to do a better format for the council and have something a little better looking when we present it to the residents of the city. And they can actually go through and find what they're looking for a little easier.
And for the council, as you're aware, our auditor, when we had our audits, that actually identified certain areas that needed improvement. So there was a lot of work that Lynette actually did on that, and Matt, to go ahead and get us lined up where it's a little bit easier for us to be able to distinguish and track the money where it's being appropriated and where it's being spent instead of just a big overall pot. So it works out better for us and be able to do that.
Yeah,
so,
you won't see the interfund transfers for library and animal control. It always looked like it had a big deficit. They didn't, because at the end of the year, we'd have to transfer whatever they need out of general fund to support them. They're covered under general fund, like they should be. So. Oh, the one thing I did change in here is for the library. I put in some extra money for the roof. So initially we didn't have that, and I remembered the roof project, and we had some. So
how much had come out to Cassandra?
We've had a couple estimates. There's one that's within our budget range. We've agreed to do all three of the roofs over there for that,
Oh, good.
that price. And
Good.
it's within, I didn't have any idea. I threw a number out there and in the budget, and lo and behold, his actually came in. The
Right.
shingled one, the metal roof one was a little high. And then
That's
the other
okay.
shingled roof one we got was as high as the metal roof. So this is a reputable roofing company.
And Cassandra, how long have you been talking about doing the roof over your place? It has, right? So this is a good thing. This is a good thing being able to take care of your facility.
And
So that's awesome.
Once we got an approved budget in everything's said and done, we'll contact them and get it coordinated and getting that roof replaced over there.
Lynette, do you think having this new budget formatted out the way it is will it's go smoother?
The way that Deb and I wanted to do it was roll those funds. It's not really a fund. So you've got your business activity, you've got your governmental activities. So if you look at the way on the audit, we wanted to separate those two because it's really not a fund. It's not dedicated fund. So it'll make it quicker. I mean, I'm not going to take, but we'll support it.
Any other questions? Yes, ma'am. Can you please state your name and your address so we have an?
Sorry that I missed my opportunity to speak or be quiet forever.
No,
To speak at-
no, none at all, ma'am.
But my name is Maria Bereni.
Okay,
I'm a resident of Lido since 1986, 87.
okay.
It's quite a long time. And I'm here to express my concern. Maybe it's my concern, but maybe it's going to be interesting for the community and everybody else. So my concern is about the rules and regulations, the strict regulations and rules for the payment of the water bills. And I know that maybe I'm wrong with the dates, but I know that the 10th day of each month, the water bills, sewer, and trash should be paid. On the 11th day, that's it, a fine had to be charged. I understand on the 16th day, the water is cut off and has to be paid with fees plus the drains of the water. So that is a big concern for me and myself. And this is why I decided to come over here to the council meeting to ask for a little bit of input from new council members.
Yes, ma'am.
And-
So what we can do, just because of the way that the sequence of the meeting goes, we kind of have to stick to what we actually have to go ahead and take action on. But what we'll do is we'll definitely get our city administrator and our finance director that overlooks the utilities to get together with you, and we'll get all your information. We'll talk about the procedures. What are some of the recommendations? And if you feel after talking to them that you want to put it on the agenda, we'll put it on the agenda for the next meeting, and then it can come up for action for the council.
It is, well, it is, I know that I'm not gonna say how to do the city businesses because I know the rules and regulations must be followed. However, I'm sure that there are people way out there that are going from paycheck to paycheck or maybe not even a paycheck. So this is why I am very concerned because it happened to me personally. In one of my trips, we thought we were gonna come back before we came to pay the water. However, it was not possible. Our trip was not able to allow us to be here at 10, and we were surprised that we didn't get any water at 12 o'clock in the morning when we returned. And this is why I am here. And when it happened again, I was going to be out of the country in the middle of the month. I did not know how much I should pay, and I left a note that I remind Lido State Bank information to withdraw the amount of money, and I think the note was really, ignored or maybe.
Yes, ma'am.
Shut down.
But we can go ahead. We'll go ahead and address it. We'll take a look at it. And like I said, I want them to get with you so we can get all the background and look at our procedures, right? And see if there's anything in there. And then if you still don't feel adequate with the information, you can go ahead and request for it to be put on the agenda, and we can come back over here and we can go ahead and actually get into more discussion and try to figure out different things. Okay?
Miss Maria, why don't you come in tomorrow at 9 o'clock and come sit with me and talk with me, and we'll look at everything. Are you busy tomorrow?
So yeah, I'm starting working already. So,
Okay.
it's gonna be another.
Okay.
I can
well,
bring
you-
counsel
I'll
on it.
let you know.
You can, you know what, you come in
Okay.
anytime you have an open time and come and sit with me, and we'll go through the whole thing, okay?
Very good. And as I say, maybe it's only for me because I have the personal experience, but this might help the community because it's very strict. I know that, I'm not gonna say how to run the business because, the city of Lido has a business to run, like I was listening at what you were reading. And there are ways to accommodate money from one line to the other, or just be a little bit concerned about us because
Yes,
we are
ma'am.
there.
Yeah, we'll definitely address the situation, and then we'll go ahead and take the next steps. But get with Miss Lynette, okay?
Thank
and we
you very
definitely-
much. I really appreciate it, and I don't think I am a complainer, but it's a concern that the rules are very strict.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you very
No,
much. I
thank you for being
appreciate
here,
you
ma'am.
listening.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
I'll be good. Awesome. All right, council.
I move that we approve ordinance number 22-10, adopting a budget for the city of Lidle, as explained in the agenda item for October 1st, 2020 through September 30th, 2023.
Okay, got a motion on the floor for us to go ahead and approve.
We'll go ahead and second that.
Got a second? Okay. Any further discussion?
I have a question, Mayor.
Yes.
And Matt, maybe Lynette, y'all can answer this. It stems from how the debt servicing payment is going to work moving forward. The way that I understand it is that for, I guess, 2023 fiscal year, we're going to be able to make those payments out of that certificate of obligation that we just got issued. My concern is for future years and where that revenue is going to come from, because by my math, it's approximately about $700,000 that we're going to need to be coming up with. And I don't see us seeing that increase for another probably 4 or 5 years as far as property taxes are concerned. So as far as our plan moving forward, what is it?
So
How
it's
are we
just-
going to get there?
So it'd be the same as the plan when we started looking at all this. We have to look at our utility rates. This is a project that council wanted to take on to get the projects done. And we've always talked about the income to pay those expenses. That's why we did a slight utility rate increase that created some of that revenue for us. And then as these homes continue to build, the projections that we got from Samco show the payments being made from impact fees and connection fees, stuff like that we have. We will have another utility rate, a formal one done this budget cycle to see where we should be with our utility rates. I don't anticipate us ever being able to get there in 1 year because it's probably going to be a lot higher than we need to be. But it's going to be an incremental increase over time to get us where we need to be. And as we continue to add customers on our utility, it's just going to generate additional revenues for us. Of course, we're going to have additional expenses too, but that's where we got to work on figuring out how we control other expenses. Bond payments come first, and then we figure out what's left in the kitty to run the city.
Yeah, I mean, as we all are aware, these aren't the last projects that the city's going to need. The reports from the engineers are saying we're going to need considerable amount of work. And I think that we've seen, going through this process, how those costs have increased whenever that estimate first came out. And this is not the last certificate of obligation that we're going to need for infrastructure. And chances are probably better than not that we're going to have to go out for some sort of bond election to pay for these infrastructure improvements.
Yes, sir.
So that's my concern.
I agree with you
in
wholeheartedly.
adopting the lowest possible rate because, let's be honest, we're going to be hit with some sticker shock next year whenever it comes time for a budget again, and the tax rate does jump considerably.
Yes, sir. I don't disagree with you. We got a lot of growth and infrastructure we need to do in the city. And unfortunately, it takes money to pay for those. And the only way we generate that is through ad valorem and sales tax. We can continue to get commercial properties to generate more sales tax. I mean, it's just, I don't disagree with you. So any way we can secure funding, the better off we're going to be. And we'll continue working with grants to secure funding for some of the grant projects we can do and move forward from there.
Roger that. Okay. Any other items for discussion? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
Okay.
Mayor, were you and I'm sorry, it's a recorded vote for everyone. Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. No, we appreciate it. I think it'll be good for us to go ahead and do that. And like I said, to the council, based on our legal advice, we'll actually go ahead and re-looking at this on the next one and giving an opportunity to go ahead and do that. Even though we did publicly put it in different sources out there, we just want to make sure that we cover all the bases that go along with that. All right, let's go ahead and move forward to E, consider and act upon ordinance number 22-11, approving the appraisal roll, setting the tax rate, specifically separate components of such rate for maintenance and operations and for debt service of the city of Lytle, and setting an effective date.
So council, you'll see our maintenance and operation is 0.3139 per hundred. The interest in sinking is 0.0505 per hundred. So it gives us our effective tax rate of 0.3643. That is our voter approval rate. That's what I recommend.
What's the increase?
I'm sorry.
Need that increase from last year.
Last year's overall was 0.3905 per hundred. I'd have to look and see what the actual rate, like the INS and M&O was. That'll be in, I'm sorry, I got it right here. This burden chart.
How much percentage increase? Because that's what we have to vote on.
I think I've got it actually set right here in a percentage. Oh, I'm sorry, 10.6%. It increased for, that's the budgeted amount, that's what it brings in. And then, my only question to Jessica on the ordinance, under 6, it talks about taxes are payable to the Office of the Tax Assessor Collector of Atascosa County. Until February of 23, we're still going to collect our own taxes, so we need to fix something in just that verbiage to also add our
Yeah,
taxes.
I did revise it to say that it be payable to the city or the.
Okay,
That may just be an older version.
that's what, okay, then that's, yes, okay, awesome.
Okay.
Oh, here's the actual,
That's the technical
the
requirement.
verbiage, so whoever wants to make the motion out of this.
So they have,
Or from a dictionary.
Mayor, I move that the tax rate be increased by the adoption of a tax rate of 0.3643 per hundred, which is effectively a 10.6% increase in the tax rate.
okay, have a motion on the floor?
Is that higher?
It's actually lower. Yeah. Last year was 3.9, not increase, I'm sorry, decrease, it's not an increase, I was looking at the increase in total, I'm sorry. Is it, yeah, we actually have a decrease in our tax rate.
All right.
We went last year we were 3905. This year we're going to 3643 because we have the added value. You said increase. I'm sorry.
All right,
The increases will actually bring in more money to us
So
this
is
year.
it a 10.6% decrease?
No.
No,
Okay.
Yes, for an increase, I was looking at the overall
What happens is they call it an increase because the total revenue is more than.
total revenue.
And so therefore it results in.
Okay, so I stated the
Yeah.
motion.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, thank you, Jeff.
You got a second? Okay. Discussion? Okay. All those in favor? Any opposed?
Nay.
Okay. Okay. Motion carries forward. Appreciate all the work you guys did on that. Thank you. Thank you.
That was
Just
the first for me. Sorry.
be able to take
First
care of
time I've
that.
ever done one of those for a city.
So make it a lot easier, especially with having all the components now and having access to all the information that we need. So I appreciate that. Okay, let's go ahead and move on. We're doing good. Let's go ahead and take care of F, update on drainage issues on Lakeshore Estates.
So
Go.
council, couple things we can look at. Again, it would be my overall opinion that we have an engineer do the entire plan to tell us what we should do to fix the entire problem. I understand we're trying to fix an issue that one person's having, like Mr. Cage mentioned in the past, if we fix one thing or we throw a Band-Aid on one thing, what's the effect on somebody else? And looking at it, I can see some effects already on people that would be downstream of that. However, if the council chooses, we can look at an option if I can get CPS to the table. CPS has a power distribution box that sits right there in that drainage area that currently is outside of the flooded area. If we adjust that and cut those berms down like what's been mentioned, and we can find the money to do that and we're able to do it ourselves, I think that's going to put that electrical box underwater. And it doesn't take but about 6-8 inches of water from what I recall talking with CPS for that water to then get into the actual main distribution power portion of it, potentially energizing all the water. So I've sent an email out to CPS Energy, our contact with them, to see what the process is, if they would even raise it, what that cost is, anything. Have not heard back. It would take some time for them to figure all that out and calculate it. So I don't really know how council wants to move on this. I can get information back from CPS on what that cost would be or what that process is. And looking at just the cost for the rock, to do just the rock on a portion that we talked about, 9 or 10,000 just for the rock. Then we're gonna figure out when Public Works can get over there and physically do all the work. Then we still have to figure out the concrete stuff. I mean, I don't know how council wants to move on. It's a big ticket item. I can tell you, the RFQ is ready. I just need to determine dates. We're going to issue it and close it on the entire drainage study for out there. I've reached out to the previous engineer. They don't have any records on the flooding on the drainage area out there, I guess. I'm not sure. A lot of stories have passed from that time on how that transpired. I reached out to a gentleman that said he had the information, was going to share it with me, and have yet to receive a call back on come pick it up. So I don't really know. We're trying to fix a problem. I agree there's a problem, but
What I think we still need, I mean, the biggest thing, we still need to get CPS. I mean, can't,
Well, that's the first step on a
for the
temporary
temporary fix.
possible
Yeah.
relief of some of the problem.
But before we, and I would say, council, before we said, yes, let's do that temporary fix, I want to make sure the council can look at everything, the holistic approach of what that could cause downstream for some other residents before we go fix that on how it could affect other people.
the other thing is I drove out there and I went over to 6710 where the crossover is a little further down the road. You know, we probably still need to talk to BMA because their old or their canal that pushes the water through there, you still have water that is going to be going into. They didn't go with a piping all the way to that crossover. It's a regular ditch.
Open ditch.
Have you been out there, James? No. Yeah, so I'm wondering how they connected the pipe because I can't see. You got to go to other property, but from the middle, the crossover, it's still 2 ditches that are in there. So, that's the biggest thing. Just looking at that area is how much water comes down from those properties and it funnels into that area. So if that ditch is still open, instead of using the regular the piping in there, you're still going to be pushing water into that area. So we got to be able to take care of that portion of it. So we probably need to talk to BMA and see if they can go all the way to the gate and keep it covered. And then that way we don't run the risk of pushing any more water into that area.
No matter what we do, we have to walk with BMA anyways, because we have to get their consent, actual legal form signed before we start doing any work on their property, if that's the option we choose to go.
Yeah.
So that's the update.
17 is that. I went, going back on that other part. I didn't see it. I didn't see the, on that side.
Yeah, you gotta keep. So you go past. You'll have you go past the end of Whitecap. Oh, I'm sorry, 6710, and then the last home, and then you have an open area, and then you have a reservoir. You keep going past that reservoir until it turns, and you go over the 2 gates. You see the 2 gates, the one that is the regular drainage and the one that is a BMA canal up to that area. When you stop there, I took some photos. You can actually see they're both still there. They're open. So any water is still going to flow into that area. It's not piped. Now, if they have the pipe connected somewhere else, then, maybe we can just close the gates. But if it's not closed, we need the pipe to go all the way. If not, you're still going to get all the water going into phase 2. And just like Matt said, you might end up with other issues because you get the water, it hits where all the dirt is at. And guess what? It's going to start filling and going in an area that was never meant to be drainage the way it's set up right now. So, yeah.
I'd just be afraid for us to make a change and it affects somebody else downstream, and then because of our change, they may have some legal recourse.
Yeah, and that's
We didn't.
Based on the pictures, the mayor and video, the mayor showed me a previous flooding out there. That's a big concern.
yeah.
I wholeheartedly understand the concern the resident has. I do not disagree with him. I just
Yeah.
think before we
Will it help? Yes, it will help. But you have to manage everything within. And I think the biggest obstacle right now is just getting CPS. You don't want to push water into an electrical box.
That's what we're talking about. Yeah.
That's what we're afraid. There's already a bad spot on another county road. But that water, any additional water we put in that we drain out of there that would hold would now feed into that certain area, would make that flooding even worse.
If you guys have a chance, I know David can go out there, just go through that crossover.
Sure.
I think it would be good just so you can kind of get a visual and stuff on there.
Hey, Matt,
Yes, sir.
where are we on the drainage utility fund RFQ
It's
for
ready
the,
as
for
well.
the entire city?
It is ready as well. So I need to issue both of them. We got them back from legal. They've been reviewed by both engineers and legal to make sure that they're good to go. So we'll be issuing those. They're going to determine this week or next what the date ranges are going to be to have them out and receive them back.
Because what I've seen cities do is they develop a master drainage plan. So any effects of improvements out there in Lakeshore, like you're talking about, try to mitigate the damage downstream. Because I think the last thing we want to be doing is flooding somebody else out.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And this is just an update, so we don't have any action or anything, but anybody have any other questions or anything? Okay, well, Matt, keep us posted.
Yes, sir.
As soon as you find out
So
some
what's
info.
decided?
Nothing right now. We're waiting to hear
But
back.
we're gonna move forward with the RFQ.
Yes, we'll be issuing RFQs. Yes, sir. That's
Okay.
being
That's
done.
separate.
No matter what, we know we need to look at what the entire drainage is out there to look at that. How can we mitigate it for the entire subdivision, not just one? And then we'll separately have the drainage fund
Right.
that we collect that would help support financing drainage.
But
projects.
as of right now, we're not planning on doing any work
As,
ourselves.
as of this moment, no, sir. There's no
Okay.
work to be done.
I just want to make that clear.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to G. Consider and act upon ordinance number 22-12, limiting the idling of heavy-duty vehicles to 5 minutes, setting an effective date and establishing an administrative penalty, and directing city secretary to publish notice. So, council, we have an update on this one. Right before the meeting this afternoon, found out from our legal advice that there might be a possibility for us to be able to use TCEQ as a source to be able to help us being able to implement something like this, that they might already have something where we just join into an agreement and it's already lined up to what we're actually looking for. We need to study it a little bit further just to make sure. So I asked for a motion for us to go ahead and table this and bring it back to the next meeting.
Table or
Table.
table?
Maybe it was 2 weeks to work on it.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, Mayor, I move that we table this action upon ordinance number 2212.
Okay, got a motion for us to go ahead and table it. Got a second? Okay. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Any opposed? Thank you. Appreciate it. All right. 7, executive session. Do we have any updates that I need to? No? Okay. Okay. Okay, so we don't have anything to worry about executive session. So we'll go ahead and move on to number 8. Move into the department reports. And first one, Santi, come on up. Bring us up to speed with animal care and control.
The month of 86 calls for service, 1 animal return, transferred 25 animals out into 10. Our animal count right now, we have 41 dogs and 28 cats. The number's gone down. It's going down. The dogs going down, going up, back and forth. When we get dogs out, more come in. Seems to work. We get 10 out, we end up getting 5 in.
Are we getting close for the adoption program? Try to see if we can help.
Yeah. People coming by looking at dogs. They foster them for a little bit to see how they'll work out at home, and if it works out, they end up adopting them. We tried one out. We had one take one of our dogs to foster to see how it works out. Didn't work out, so they brought her back. So our adoption fee is $150. It's spayed, neutered, up to date on all the shots, microchip, and pretty much that kind of covers the cost of getting the animal spayed, neutered, and everything. So I transferred 3 dogs to SNPSA, 5 dogs to the Humane Society, 9 cats. 2 Texas Humane Heroes, 3 more dogs to Humane Society, 3 cats off to Pets Alive, and then 2 dogs to Frontier Animal Society in Canada. Right now, most of our rescues that we transfer out to, the ones you see on the list, they're not taking any animals from us because they're full themselves. Because they have to pull from certain animal controls that they have contracts with. So right now, we're kind of on hold with some of them that we usually work with. August had 10 volunteers, total 40 hours. Had 4 new volunteers. We have a young lady and her mom that come every Saturday for like 1 hour. Miss Salazar and her daughter. So yeah, and get new volunteers here and there. And my animal medical balance is 10,244, and our spay neuter is 5,331. And on the facility fund is still trying to figure that out. So.
Well, be good for the new year.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So far, up to date, August, euthanized 5, 4 adopted, and 205 and transferred to rescues. Bella's Pantry, 92 pet owners came for food, 8 new people. 5 were from Lido and 3 from Atascosa. I'm not sure if it's Atascosa County or just the city Atascosa, Bear County.
Ooh, probably. I
Pro-
don't
I would
know.
have figured
I would
out.
probably the city.
I would
We've
figure-
been
yeah.
right since we've been using cities.
Yes.
So
And here are a few animals that went to Quebec that have been adopted. Beatrice was actually kind of a dog we were having trouble in the trailer park down by the high school, always getting out. So one day I picked her up. They never came back for her. And Quebec, she went to Quebec and got adopted. There are more.
there you go.
And Tommy, you see that cast on him, went up there. They ended up having to amputate his leg. There's more damage on that leg than they thought. Nick was one of 2 dogs that was found at McDonald's here.
All the way to Canada.
Yep.
Dual citizenship.
Yes.
We
So,
take
and
care
then
of-
we have another transport coming up for them in October.
Santi, can you brief the council, in a sense, we talked about doing different things with the adoptions, and then I think it was a great idea working with Richie, what you're thinking
Oh.
about doing.
Yeah, like posting dog of the month?
Well, what I was thinking is, if we could do a weekly adoption thing, I could spotlight it in my weekly, news report, and see, I can attach flyers on there as well. I can mention it and attach a flyer. And, I mean, something
I
where
still think
people-
we can host maybe an adoption event several throughout the year, maybe some lower cost adopt. I don't know. Just something we can do once our numbers get up. We can try to adopt. Like I said, they're doing a great job in trying to get animals out to different rescues, and they're getting adopted, which is great. But when they're all full, then we get full, and then we still have more animals, and that's where we begin to get the overcrowding.
And
Could you spotlight one on our new
We can do anything we need on
super
our
sign out
Yes,
here?
sir. Yep. We gotta
So-
get the information, and then we can.
so make,
A lot of traffic
Yeah.
and.
Yeah, and actually,
We can do several, just keep rolling through.
October is Adopted Dog Month.
Well, that'd be great to
October is
do.
Adopted Dog
Find
Month.
me
So.
find me the information on it, send me some pictures of some dogs that we have, and we'll get it posted on the.
Richie, when you would need it by Friday, you put the newsletter out on Monday, right? That's when you send it out?
I mean, just whenever, I mean.
Or the
if you get to
weekly.
the Early Monday morning or something, I'll get, if he's gonna do a flyer, I can attach a flyer. The key, I think, is that if you've constantly got something going, like if there's constantly something on the sign, and there's constantly something in the email, right now, the people may not be looking for adopted dogs, adopt. But when they are, they're gonna think of us because they're gonna see it.
Yeah, I'll come up with a flyer. I'll give it to the ladies.
You did like
Help me out.
by every Friday, that way we can get it to Richie and get it to Matt, and then we can put it up, start posting out. We can help you.
Definitely, we can do that.
Okay. We can highlight.
Yep.
That'd be good. That'd be good if we can help out one way or another, and then start planning some of those events for adoption too.
Okay,
So we can help out, so we can get it down to about 20.
Yep.
Okay.
definitely.
That'd be council.
Got some stuff,
Questions?
he's gonna be at National Night Out as well. So,
Oh, yeah.
We can bring some flyers and stuff.
Definitely.
That'd be awesome. All right. Thank you, Santi. Appreciate that.
I think you just.
All right. Cassandra, come on up. I know you're all happy. You're getting a roof. Whoop, whoop. That'd be awesome.
There we go. We're back.
I'm not touching it.
I turned the mouse off. You should be good.
All right, our adult computers went up. We had over 100. But I think it had to do with everybody coming in because they needed to get ready for school. They were having to register. Everybody was last minute. And by 107 checkouts, it went down, but it's over. So 1,413. And then we had 10 new accounts, 28 renewals, and April made 1,500. And we're gonna plan on doing the adult, or it's not gonna be a really adult, it's gonna be more like a family craft night, starting next month. So it'll be either the second or fourth Tuesday of the month. And we're almost done with the library sections project. We just need the adult nonfiction. The last 2 weeks in August, we worked on it, or actually almost the whole month of August, we worked on it. April had been out for a week. And so Joe and I was just doing, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go get the Texas section and work on it, and then I'll pass it to you. And she's like, all right. And we got all the biography. So now we need is the adult nonfiction and then the graphic novels and the young adult fiction. We're still offering the curbside. We didn't have a whole lot of displays this month, but the last month actually. But this month we actually have a Hispanic Heritage Month right in front as you walk in. We have Batman Day. Talk like a pirate, and then we have also fall we're going to put on the other side, and then we had Johnny Appleseed Day. So we're starting to work back up with and always the banned books. We have that right in front. One little girl, in fact, she grabbed the book the other day, or her mom grabbed the book, and she said, "Don't grab it. The police are going to arrest you for grabbing it because it had caution on it and it had this plastic chain." So she was so concerned that her mom was going to get arrested. I'm like, no, she can take.
See where Richie's at? Yeah, I'm telling you.
But they're liking it. So we're the book festival grant, and then I'm going to use the money that we received from the Medina Electric to buy items for the story time.
Awesome.
That's about it.
Awesome.
Any questions?
Council? So this fall, we're not going to be doing anything.
We're going to try to do a mini history fair.
Okay.
I've got to get with Carolyn. She said she could talk to me a little bit about it.
Okay.
And then we're also going to do the pumpkin, where they decorate a pumpkin.
That's
we're gonna
awesome.
do that probably starting next month. We'll start putting out the flyers for that. I don't know about the Canon guy because I don't know where he is, but we'll talk to Carolyn and see if she knows where he's at. Because last I had heard he was in Hondo, but then I don't know if he moved to another location.
Oh, we were
So-
talking to, is it Pastor James?
Yeah.
Right? They get all excited when you do it. I mean, yeah.
The kids.
They-
they're like,
They love
they're
go-
stop
Mustard
traffic.
Sand Cannon, yeah. that's
Yes.
what
Thank
they're
you.
doing.
They get all excited going down there, taking that and watching the folks cook the stuff, and
Yes.
making the stuff and
Showing
everything.
The kitchen, the 1860s kitchen, and the Dutch oven cooking.
So please let us know. Please let us know. Council, anything else? All right. Thank you. All right, Richie. So what's Pirate's favorite restaurant? Said talk like a pirate.
Huh?
Sorry, you still sleeping,
No,
sir?
pirate favorite restaurant.
Yeah, Cassandra was talking about, we had the function of how they talk. So what's a pirate's favorite restaurant?
I don't know, what is it?
Arby's.
I
See?
like it. Now I'm hungry for Arby's.
All right, super skip.
Arby's sauce.
Here we go. Let's take care of business.
All right. Last month, I removed the debris and bulky waste at 12 locations. Brush was put out at the right of way either late or early, depending on the date. This past month at 21 locations. I addressed almost all of the residents there at those locations and advised of the regulations about placing brush on a certain date or time and location. This past month, I also had 26 yards that I addressed or maintained. Right now, I have 6 outstanding overgrown letters out to the owners of vacant residences are really overgrown. Asked them to maintain it by the end of this month, or the city will contract the maintenance personnel and have it maintained and bill the owner, or place a lien on the property if the bill is not paid. I turned off sprinklers and water being used at 12 locations and advised the residences of the stage 3 restrictions. And at 4 locations, I advised people to obtain a permit for either a storage building, fence build, or a house remodel restructure this past month. That's basically it. I did a few other things, but they're not worth talking about.
I know you've done a lot, so appreciate all your advice on the trees, advice on the size of stuff for the brush and all
I
that.
don't know when the trees may come before, but I understand that the church over here may want to take down 2 pecan trees, but it has to go before their board.
Yeah, just walk them through the process in the
Yeah.
sense of what they want to do, and or maybe offer different options that we might actually have.
Yeah, definitely will.
Might have some discussions later on that. Please pay close attention on some of the drainage areas too. You know, in the sense of just the grass cutting and different things that go on there. So if we need to take care of some areas that belong to us or maybe the residents,
All right.
it might be good to kind of remind them, you know, because we do have some properties that go into that. Some of them are ours, some of them are the residents.
Right.
So we can take care of the stuff.
Okay.
I appreciate
I'll
that.
watch it.
Council?
That one brush that's over there in Comay, AEP came, they cut it like 30 minutes after they had already picked up the.
Yeah, right. There's that vacant lot.
Yes.
Yeah.
I went out there, they were gonna put the meter on that new house, and I asked them if they could cut the branches, and they said yes, they did, but they cut one tree and then they came back the next day, but we got there too late.
Well, that's all right. It's all right. It's not bothering over there, and we can get picked up.
Is that in the entrance right there?
No, it's over on Water Street.
Oh, further down. Okay. No, well, we appreciate that, taking care of that entrance portion of it. So that's good. Thanks, Skip. Appreciate it. All right, James, Public Works.
Afternoon, everyone. I don't know if y'all know what happened about 12, 13 days ago. We lost water. They called for locates. We went out and located one line. It was about 5 o'clock. We promised to locate the other one first thing in the morning. The contractor got there early, told his crew to lay one more joint of pipe, and that's when they busted a 3-inch. So we lost water pressure Thursday for a little bit. Finally got it fixed. This was sometime late. That evening, we were working some valves upstream, and they had a 12-inch valve break loose. So we went ahead and scheduled it for Sunday evening. Turned off the water at 10 o'clock. There was no water above ground in any of the storage tank. Overhead tanks or anything anyway. If you wouldn't believe it, but it took after 3 o'clock until the water quit raining down there at the creek. It looked like we were still under pressure at 2 o'clock. And we got those 2 12-inch valves put in, got the 3-inch repaired, and the water back on by daylight. Called TCEQ. We couldn't get an answer till about 10:30. They told us where to take samples. We took samples, got them into town about 12. 11 o'clock the next day, they told us the water was good, and we rescinded the boil. And we have a contractor still has to lower 2 3-inch lines out there for TxDOT. Mistake somewhere along the line. Still got to do that.
You guys did a heck of a job. Kudos to the whole crew. And by the way, during that time, the crew actually took advantage of the low water pressure or the no pressure, and they went ahead and took care of 2 sites of 2 of the projects that needed to be done. So they took advantage of that chance to go ahead and do that. So they were working some while we had the other folks working on the others. So we had 3 different places being worked on at the same time. So kudos and Matt for being out there, Richie stopping by and checking up on us. You know, that was good. It was a good team effort, being able to take care of that.
Okay, this is all in August. We put in 3 meters, repaired 1 main break, replaced 9 meters, replaced 4 service lines, and fixed 6 service line leaks. We haven't run on service line leaks this summer. We found 2 customer leaks and had 2 sewer main stoppages. Locates, we did 36, rereads 74, finals on water and gas 28, news 17, and miscellaneous work order 17. It's kind of a chart on what we did. This is man hours, water installation 10 hours, water maintenance 240, sewer maintenance 16, sewer plant maintenance 238. 80 hours of meter reading, 20 hours of rereads, 8 hours of asphalt, and 6 hours of base. Locates 38, mowing and shredding 16, burning brush 16, and a miscellaneous for 456 for a total of 1,144 hours. No vacation, no sick leave, no time off. And that's a chart on our man hours. That's all. I've got a copy if anybody wants one.
Yeah, you can go ahead and pass it out. Be good. Yeah. Anybody want one? No? I'll take one. That'll be good. Thanks, James. Appreciate it. That was good. All right. Richie. There we go.
Well. Yeah, you made it. You're gonna click through it. Okay. I think maybe I PDF it on the side. But the other one. So, calls for service. What's that? 207. Came down just a little bit there. Or up a little bit. There we go. That might help. Vehicle collisions, alarms. Nothing really out of the ordinary there. Pretty standard. Keep on 1 minute. Drive up a little more. Keep going. 48 business checks, 390 building checks, get nothing there out of the ordinary, just typical stuff. Go on. 388 citations issued, majority of those for speeding. What else we got on there? What's the number 2 there? Again, a lot of driver's license related, registration, stop sign. There's a lot of activity out there. Keep going. We can go through the racial profiling. That's pretty in depth. That's just to help us do the annual report. There's really, it takes about an hour to actually break all that down and tell you what it is every month, but it wouldn't tell you much. I'm going to try to regroup and do this a little different next time around, but it's just I hadn't done it yet. Okay, there we go. Adult arrest, guys are out there making lots of arrests. You got warrant arrest, you got theft arrest, you got a lot of DWI, a little bit of assault, bodily injury. Pretty much the same arrest we always have. Doesn't change a whole lot. Didn't have any juveniles, no robberies or aggravated robberies. None of that, no identity theft stuff this month. Burglaries, let's see, we're HEB Plus that took some power tools out of a vehicle. Lonesome Dove, that's a house under construction. They took a door, that's out in Saddle Ridge, burger vehicle at HEB, got his laptop in there and somebody broke in, got it. Now, you're going to see, especially if we have 2 big subdivisions under construction, you're going to have thefts out there daily. I mean, if you have 600-700 homes going up, because there's just that much of it. I don't know if there's any way around it. I mean, we're fairly fortunate with Saddle Ridge because of its location, one way in, one way out. But these others, you know, they're going to be out there and you're going to be able to do something, hit 2790 towards Somerset, and be long gone before we even. I mean, we'll be looking at some options. So it's going to be challenging. We will see quite a bit of property crimes increase this year because of all this, the deaths we've had out there. And we made a lot of arrests out there too. We made some good arrests. So one of the guys that Anthony and Frank arrested in December, he actually has hit in San Antonio and Bernie. He's hit several of their subdivisions out there. So I mean, it's just a guy that just real prolific. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Thefts, they recovered a big piece of equipment taken out of Dimmitt County. It actually got dumped at one of the construction sites out there on 2790, one of the subdivisions where they're doing work. So that was a strange deal. And the only reason they figured out, I thought it was UPS, but a guy who knew the guy that owned it happened to drive by and say, it looks like so-and-so's
truck.
So things like that happen. HEB Plus, that's constantly theft. So bicycle, Huckleberry, that's a trash can. Now, I don't know if people really steal those trash cans or they're blowing away or the knife. I don't know. We had another theft today for a waste management trash can. I can't imagine being that popular of items. They're big, they're bulky. Anyway, had a 2020 Dodge Ram pickup valued at $85,000 taken from down there. It was actually recovered in court a few days later in good shape. So we had HEB had a 2003 Ford F-250 taken. It was recovered in San Antonio that morning. Actually, I think there was a pursuit, and SAPD, you know, they had their helicopter and everything, found it. They got arrested because they couldn't put anybody behind the wheel. Napa Auto Parts, catalytic converters. You can go up to a little bit more, man. You'll get a lot of those catalytic converters. Are hitting miss on them actually. Nothing lost. I don't know. Oh, just let me see. What all? Man, guys, did a lot of stuff. The DA's office put on some search warrant training. They wanted all the officers to go to. We sent people down to Pearsall and to Floresville, which siren test, convocation at the school. Guys went to some of their mandatory cat classes they have to try to have to get their intermediate. That's a canine encounters and interacting with deaf, hard of hearing. I'm sorry, what else we got there? Violence against women training. That's a grant funded deal. By one condo, we try to take advantage of as much training as possible. And Frank and I went to the Lyle ISD Safety Committee meeting at the school on the 29th. So we're always, and there's always stuff in there we miss too, because we do. I mean, I just try to remember everything, but go ahead. I'm sorry. So the antique shop on Main Street, we I think got them going. Stripes, we're working over there. I guess I'll go ahead and tell y'all now as you tell the mayor about it. So I've been trying to get in Stripes over there because they've got, you know, been shut down some. And they hadn't called us for some inspections, which I thought was kind of odd. So I did go over and talk to the general contractor today and ask him, well, what's the plan here, man? When y'all plan on opening? And he told me February 2023. And I was like, I thought he was joking. Evidently, they're waiting on gas pumps. They have the diesel pump, but they're waiting on the gas pumps, and that's if nothing else goes wrong. He thinks it's going to be February 2023, which is 5 months from now. So if you go in the place in there, they've got tens of thousands of dollars worth of equipment there. I'm going to go break in. Oh, do they? Yeah. But they've got all this equipment there, and it's just like there's dust over it. You know, it's kind of mothballed right now, I guess, and because we can't do our inspections until they get a little further along.
You're gonna miss out on the big wave in the holidays.
Yeah, I know.
You know?
I'm sure they don't want to. It looks really nice. It's a wonderful. If you haven't been in there, it's a wonderful big facility with everything state of the art, modern convenience store stuff. I mean, it's got to have fried chicken place. It's going to have the taco place. Everything, just really top of the line. It's not not there yet. Tattoo parlor on Main Street, we had that. Want to move on, see if there's something else next down on the next one there. So we went to the fire. We were fortunate in that the International Fire Chief Expo was in San Antonio, so 4 of us went down there to the expo. It's free to go to, but you meet with vendors, and a lot of people are, different things. So we got to spend some time down there. And there's a little fire, thank you, the annual fire inspection over there. Anything else on fire marshal there, ma'am? Criminal cases, Wesley Ascos County Attorney's Office, we filed 9 people, filed 11 charges over there, which is quite a bit. And we filed 2 felonies, 2 suspects with 3 charges with the Ascos District Attorney's Office. We filed a thing in Medina. Let's go to the next one. We filed 1 misdemeanor with Medina. Medina County now is a really neat system. It's electronic file like some of these big cities, but we don't actually have to go over there. It's all uploading files, and it's really neat. Got a lot of advantages to it. Where are we at on the bottom there? Let's go down one more page there. We should be at the 518 or next one there. Okay, there we go. 714 to 810. Well, I could have had that out. No, because I did this back there. So I've been taking a lot of holiday. We've got everybody's basically scheduled for vacation. Like Sergio just started. We've got lots of people taking vacation between now and the first of the year. Got guys doing training. Had a guy out a little bit on light duty for a while due to a workman's comp deal when he had to chase a guy and arrest him. Non-paid officers, I've really got to revamp that. I've got some people interested, and I've got to get that. I've got to work on that some. So that's it. Sorry, I don't know how to make sure that. But that's really what we got going. The 2 vehicles, I think, we do finally have them up and running. I just put out a newsletter. You'll be getting it shortly with your bill, and I'll post it. I'll post it to the website. We ordered them in October, and we got them up and running in September. So 11 months to get those 2 vehicles up and running. We have one of the vehicles that is stripped down, and basically I'll probably get with Matt and send it down to City Hall, so they'll have an admin vehicle down here to use. If they need, that's something he wanted to do, which we've done it. We've had that in the past. It's just been a number of years, probably 15 years since we've done that. So we got that going. Working with the school a lot. We were up at the school, the 4 of us worked at the school day for a couple hours today. They got a new SRO up there, a guy I've known since the 90s. And, we're just working with them through all the challenges that a school has in a modern world after just start naming the school shootings and Uvalde being the most recent. So it's a lot going on, and we're trying to support them the best role that we can. And but it is a challenge. It will always be a challenge because if you don't work up there, some up there. But the school's big. Physically, it's big. It's big, and there's a lot of rooms and it's and like David graduated there in 2009. But they added a bunch. They added the junior high. They added on to the gymnasium. A lot of that stuff, we kind of forgot that there was a whole other gymnasium there. So a lot of stuff like that. So we're having, we're working with them. We're at a bonfire. Really, it's a very, main thing we're trying to get this year's budget closed out, and we feel very confident that next year, we're going to have a true representation, and we'll be able to get immediate answers on where we are on budget and immediate response with, just the daily operations. It's taken a lot of stress that at times I've endured. It'll just make it a little easier, And having Matt and Lynette have really helped. I don't know how the other department heads, but it's helped us a lot be able to focus more on what we need to be focusing on. Without saying it another way, I can work with anybody, but it does kind of help smooth the process, I think.
We appreciate your presence everywhere, Rich, and the folks, whether it's at football games, different activities, different events.
Oh, we try. Again, it is. We didn't even, like, for example, we try to hit the school zones. Well, today, for example, we had an accident up on the interstate, in the overpass. by accident. Everybody's tied up for all during that time. But, I mean, we got a good working relationship with everybody around us, but it is about being out there and being seen. We're not, there's plenty of work to do in the office. We have to make sure we can, coordinate, balance it out, because I can find something to do in the office every day, all day long, just about. And but we're very fortunate. I mean, we'll be working if Matt gets off probation or whatever and becomes the uninterim city administrator, or maybe they stay with the whole thing. But then we'll be working to fill that position, his vacancy, sometime after the first year, probably. That's the plan.
All right.
Any questions? Oh, National Night Out next Tuesday. We've got a DJ. We've got we got a pretty good assortment of people volunteering. We have a bounce house. We've got a bounce house. First we have Joseph with Trinity Baptist at the bounce house, and we're pretty excited.
And the free hot dogs.
Free hot dogs. We need to get that. We kind of
It'll be
free
there.
hot dogs. We're gonna have some ice cream. We're gonna have some drinks. We're gonna have
Good showing.
I think it'll be
Good
fun.
showing.
It's still a little hot. I wish it was a little cooler. But, we'll be inside at least. But it's we've got some stuff inside. I'm a little challenged by the heat that we're facing. Anyway,
It'll be good.
any questions?
Anything else?
Feel free to reach out. We'll,
Okay.
pretty much all.
Okay. Thank you. Appreciate it, Richie. All your hard work. Okay, we're gonna go ahead. We're already at 8:00 right now. So we're gonna go ahead, and we usually like to stop a little bit. I know we got a few things more to go ahead and cover, but take a break right now. Charles, thank you for joining us. So you're gonna continue with us after the break?
Might as well. I've lasted this long, Mayor.
All right, we'll try to make it quick so we can go ahead and take care of that. So it's 8:00 right now, but before we go on break, all right, because we don't know whether or not you'll be here for the next meeting. We got Super Skip's birthday coming up on the 13th of October. So if you all can join me, I'll go ahead and wish Skip a happy birthday. So here you go. 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Cha cha cha. Happy birthday to you. Cha cha cha. Happy birthday, dear Skip. Happy birthday to you. There you go. Make a wish. No tree brush. There you go. There you go. Happy birthday. Okay, let's go ahead and take a quick 10-minute break. Oh, if you can actually go ahead and show us 814. Continue on, and we'll go ahead and move on to additional. Show us at 814 back. We're going to go ahead and move on to our next briefing, which is we'll have our finance director come over and talk. So, Lynette, you're up. There we go. Go ahead and take care of that. All right. Awesome.
So we finally have this working where it's supposed to, so I can give this around to everyone. It took us a while. Virginia's been wonderful at getting this corrected. So we had 37 disconnects on there, but if you look, we had 28 new. A lot of those disconnects were Rosh Coleman. So those were house sales and then reconnects.
Okay.
And then there was 4 or 5 on there that were sales from houses that the people that sold their land that we're just waiting to see what's going to happen with those. On the bottom there, you'll see the donations that we brought in for the animal care, the animal shelter, and the spay. We are tracking that now, so it can be allocated over to Santiago correctly.
Awesome.
Yep. Fire donations, you can see we brought in $1,100. We are sending that out to the fire department monthly. Garbage collection and gas collection, library donations. I'm also going to make sure that starts going out to Cassandra. That's her name.
Awesome.
Yep. Cassandra, every month as well, to make sure that she gets that in her stuff. And then, of course, what we build for sewer and water. So overall, we had a little over 5,000 entries for the month when it comes to our billings.
I have a question real quick. I'm just curious about the fire donations.
Yeah.
You don't need to name them, but are these corporate donations, personal?
No, these come on, it's on our billings. So every month when they come in and do billings, they can
Donate.
They donate money through their billings.
Can you get that much in?
Yeah.
Is that pretty?
It can be anywhere
That's been pretty
between
steady over
yeah,
the years.
I've-
That's a pretty steady number.
around 1,200 is what I kind of averaged when we were looking at that.
Right.
So that the animal donations is low. We're usually getting a little bit more than that.
But the good thing is that now we're tracking it and it's going. So, Cassandra can benefit from doing stuff over at the library, and Santi can also benefit, especially as we start doing some more adoptions. We take care of some of the spay and neuter and stuff like that. So that'll help out.
So one thing that was brought up to me, I do want to mention to y'all that somebody had asked me that, that the city doesn't pay sales tax. We actually do. We are taxed upon garbage and gas, where I pay anywhere between $4,500 to $6,000 to the comptroller every month. So we have to keep that in mind. But we are sales taxed on that we do have to pay back to the comptroller.
Awesome.
Just to stay legal. Other than that, Paula's been working her butt off. We were a little over 3,000 off on taxes. We went from 200,000 out from the jail to ad valorem. We were at, I think, 3,700. She can't let it go. She's determined to find it. So we're almost to the point where it's 100% balanced, and I'm very excited to tell Deb that when she gets there, because we were out so bad last year. So that's what did I say? 0.008. Yeah. And
Awesome.
she just can't let that go.
Good.
But otherwise, and then
Good,
Matt
good.
will give you the budget and all the questions about that. Elaborate on
Refresh my memory. When is Mrs. Frazier coming back for audit? Second week of December. Awesome.
Should be here like 2 days.
I'm good, but let's see, 3 or 4. There's a lot of testing.
So it should be good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you for all your help.
Other questions?
Appreciate it. Council? Nope. Awesome. Thank you, Lynette. Thanks for everything. All right. There you go, Paula. Your turn. Oh, you're putting it up there? Right.
I'll explain.
So for August, we had 10 permits. There's a new dwelling home, an office mobile home, a storage shed, lab extension, one addition, a fence, a patio cover, with solar panels, and a new health center, and an enclosed greenhouse. For building inspections, we had 27 inspections total. 3 were plans review, 8 were framing electrical AC work, 0 on the drive and walkway, and 7 for the pre-work, and 9 on my finals. Most of them were from Josh Coleman.
Okay.
22 inspections for the plumbing, 2 for the plans review, 4 rough-ins, 7 top-outs, 1 water and sewer, and then 8 final. Just for the taxes, also for Mr. Allen, we're trying to update it with the Harris govern. So trying to work on that to finish it off, hopefully this week, because we have to get ready to print our taxes for October. Office update, our new clerk, Rosario, she's been in training, she's been doing really great on our building permits, she's been on her own, and she's doing really good. She picked it up real quick. And for the, our filing cabinets, she's been clearing everything up, purging all old files. So they're like, most of them are empty.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Putting everything out.
Good.
All that. Yes. She's doing help there. Didn't have much for that much happy.
Noticed all the boxes. So more and more boxes, so we can just put them in the retention storage, the ones that are.
Just had it in this like maybe to 2020, just to have enough years to, not a lot. So I'm pretty good.
Oh, we appreciate it, Paula. Thank you for all your help. That's awesome. All right, here we go.
So everyone's been working well. I mean, if you talk about cross training within our office, it's actually occurring now. I mean, we're going to have, when somebody takes out, the ability to the cross trained person to come in, step in, just like we do at the police department, and you're never going to know it as a resident here, which is kind of neat, what we're looking forward to. And I'm hoping we can do more with less. So we hope to have the new software for the building permit process. They've actually already started some of their work to build it. That way we can go live with it in the next budget year. I don't know exactly when yet, but we'll go from there. And you'll see some similarities. Myself, Paula, and Cassandra all somehow wound up with the exact same format for our PowerPoint this month. I didn't know how that even happened. I saw hers and I was like, Jesus. So planning and zoning, Ilvin Plats, we have the LD Cromer. I haven't heard much back from them. They've been sent their stuff from our engineer. I haven't heard anything back. And then Lytle Farms, Unit 1, Saddle Ridge Phase 2. And those are just big construction projects. They're back and forth nonstop. Open annexation item, we still have the Lytle Travel Center. I think that is set for the 10th. I'll have to look at that. Actually, I think it's the 10th. It's been moved to the 11th. I think we have a city holiday. I'll look at that.
Okay.
RFPs and RFQs for the Lakeshore Stage Drainage Master Plan and the Stormwater, they've both been reviewed by legal and ready to be issued. And then the 2023 CDBG for administrative services and engineering services have both been issued and closed. We've received 2 that we'll have to go through for the administrative side. I'll check again, but I don't believe we received any from the engineering side. 2023 budget, we've worked through that tonight. Saddle Ridge, I've highlighted the updates to this and added some pictures. So phase 1, I went out there today. It's planned for 69 total homes. As of today, it appears that they're just looking at it. When I drove through this morning, there's about 32 of them that I could tell were occupied, people physically living there. 32 of them were under some phase of construction, whether it's the whole home waiting to be sold or they're still constructing it. And there was only 5 empty lots where there's still dirt on the ground. They're still waiting to do foundation. My understanding is they're waiting to finish those out to move on to phase 6 is the next one. Then phases 2 and 5, that's what they're working on now. Sewers currently being installed. However, they reached a time delay. They've discovered a bunch of rock in the ground. They've had to bring in different types of machines to break that rock up. kind of neat with them. That D&D contractor is just doing that work, and we're actually included in their monthly progress reports. So every month, I get an email, the same that they send to Roush Coleman, that says where they are, their timeline, and photographs. That's where this photo is from. So I don't know if you've seen it out there lately, but up in the top right, of course, there's all the homes. That's phase 1. Phase 6 is directly below it with the streets. You can see how it's already ready to go. Phases 2 and 5 are to the left of that. And then the back section way up there at the top is your phases 3 and 4, I believe, were the two I'm missing.
Yeah.
It's they did them way out of order. But that's your progress right there on that. Rosewood Estates, they're currently installing the water and sewer lines. However, they too have a delay. They discovered a bunch of rock. They actually brought in entire large machines and overshot their budget trying to go through the rock.
What are they
said-
doing with the rock?
At that one, they brought in, if you've seen it over on the west side of San Antonio, the big rock machines, kind of a rotary thing that just eats away at the rock. So that's what they're doing in their trenches to lay the water in.
I was
the
just
sewer.
wondering if we could take some of that and maybe use it over at Lakeshore.
No,
Save us
no.
the cost of all that rock. Is just
It was
just
weird.
grab it and transport it over.
When I talked to the, maybe that's what they're doing. I don't know. I mean, they're running that machine through at that subdivision. The other one, they brought in just, I think, a jackhammer to break up the rock. In Saddle Ridge, in the first phase, they found some rock, but nothing like what they've
What they
encountered
found now?
across behind the Lotto State Bank area.
Wow.
The entire thing, he says, once you get so far down, it's just nothing but rock. So it
Wow.
slowed them down some. And then Lytle Farms, no big updates on that yet. They're still working through some preliminary stuff. Other projects, the new employee handbook. So the staff here met. We went through the final process. We've made the suggestion changes, and I sent it back to legal just to make sure we didn't mess up one last thing. And then we want to get that to council to start a review of it of a couple weeks, give y'all some time to look at it, and then get it formally adopted. The street light on Main Street, we're still awaiting the timeline from CPS Energy. Unfortunately, waiting for stuff from them takes a while. The speed limit signs on North Somerset and Cottage Street, James and them went out and installed the actual signs currently on the poles that we had, because we still have to order and drive up to where at? The other side of Austin to buy the breakaway pieces. And so we're waiting for the budget. So once they get the breakaway pieces in, they'll go through there and then actually replace all the signage on the road and get it up to par. North Somerset Street, the roadway fill at the bollards. I've talked to James on that. We need to go buy the pressure treated wood to do that, and then we can start the fill and in process and the road pavement there to finish that project. 6843 road closure. I've located a source in just shy of Dallas that actually sells the wooden bollards, guardrails, stuff like that we'll need. I'm trying to get prices from them. And that would close one side of it. The other side, so we can still have access, we're looking at, I got to get a welder out there to price maybe building what would be gates. But we can't do anything there until we can get it all secured and ready to do it in one big wham with all the signage. So we're still working on that. It's just going to take some time on it. Drainage projects, the Adams Street, of course, we're hoping maybe that could be the CDBG project that we're working on, because drainage is one of their top priorities. Lakeshore Estates, we're waiting on that one. I'm still trying to gather information on the Live Oak Street and Mason Street. I'm not sure what that one is, so Mayor, I'll get with you and I'll get that, find where we're talking. I don't really know what that one is yet. City contracts, that's where we are on that. Everything's good to go on that. Tax collection contract, again, we'll have to figure out what we're doing on that, whether we want to stay with what the county is using in their firm or go to a different firm, how we want to do it. That's the McNair miscellaneous updates. Main Street, McDonald turn meetings that I've been in. The turn lane right here, they're doing a different project now. The contractor, they did it too. They were down in Karnes County, Beeville, somewhere. They're doing that project. When they finish that one, they're then going to come up here and do this project up here. So hopefully in the next few months, you'll see them up here putting our turn lane in.
And they're waiting for the equipment too, right? They're
Of course, they got traffic signal stuff. I mean, it's not just a simple project. They got to move and relocate stuff. We met with Lytle Farms in a PID meeting. They've got some more work to do there. Myself and the PD guys set through the training for the new sign out there. We met with GrantWorks on how to issue RFPs and RFQs on the CDBG, of the specific process you have to do. The TIA study, the well number 4 walkthrough, of course, the employee handbook. met with the VFW and the chamber on their upcoming plans for the next year on what they want to do and how the city can support them with maybe some hot tax money. I met with the park light vendor. Hopefully that's still a go at some point, but we got to wait for some other projects. We had the town hall meeting for the trailer park, and of course your department head meetings. Any other questions? I sent this out there when I'm gonna try to get some aerial shots of the Rosewood at the next meeting. I can bring my drone down and fly it up. That way we can kind of see what that. I haven't seen what it looks like yet from the air. It'd be nice to see what it looks like.
Yeah, well, that rock kind of explains the slope.
It's delayed them quite a bit and drove their cost pretty high from what I got.
Ouch.
Did nobody know we had this?
No, I talked to the engineer, just asked him, hey, did y'all not run? He goes, yeah, we didn't. We knew we had some in the Saddle Ridge phase 1. So we anticipated maybe catching bits and pieces. I don't know if y'all saw, but I mean, they were pulling big rocks out of the ground, but they were able to handle the machines they had. And when they got over to Rosewood, they said it was just pure rock. And they had to bring in all new machines to run through it.
That's interesting. I mean, the one in Saddle Ridge, I mean, that has always been more like a brush, but over in the Rosewood area, that has been farming for a while, right? So it had all that rock underneath.
Well, when they put in Park Place, we talked about what before Park Place over there, Mr. Garcia did, he actually got dynamite and blasted. And so all over town, when they were doing that, you heard it explode. Remember that?
And I mean, to tell you, so Saddle Ridge, the first phase, they didn't really encounter much. It's bits and pieces. Phase 6, they didn't find any. Now they're over in 2 and 5, and they're finding pretty heavy rock. So apparently, that was the end of it, pushing back north.
Nobody ever dropped a water well over there at Rosewood?
They do.
There is.
So Rosewood has a water well,
Yeah.
but I guess whatever was drilled years and years
Yeah,
ago.
Gidley has a
Gidley has
well.
one, but they probably, whoever drilled it didn't tell anybody, hey, keep in mind, we hit rock this far down up through this point.
I don't know. That's interesting, though. I mean, in a sense, but
I mean, you think about sand and then clay around here. You don't think of.
Yeah, apparently it's a pretty good rock.
oh, that'd be good in a sense of no shifting, too much shifting with all that rock. Just have to dig for that. Okay, council, let's go ahead and move on. We're going to take care of the informational items now. Any comments, anything that we need to pass along?
We have our upcoming city cleanup toward the end of this month. We'll get information out about that. I'll get with the Keep Vital Beautiful folks and coordinate all that.
Yep. So,
Make sure they send this to you, or code up on our sign.
yeah.
Yeah.
We can go ahead and put it out there and get the stuff out and be able to advertise. We still need to, have we talked to the school yet? Or we need to close the loop?
No, I will call the school tomorrow.
Yeah, we need to coordinate with the school for,
And the parking lot?
yep, for the parking lot.
Beautiful coordinate that, or does the city need to coordinate?
I've done that previously. But if you want to do it as city administrator, yeah, just call over to central office and they'll give you a right away. Okay.
Been helpful, just so we can go ahead and plan that out. It's been good. And we're still getting 4, right? 4 dumpsters?
We get up to 16 a year to use.
Yeah.
So if we want 4 that day, I can coordinate to have 4. Coordinate the location.
We filled one here before and we filled 2 pretty much all the way out there. I don't think we filled the 3rd one. So I think we stick with 4 right now and see how we do. If we need to add another day.
Let's do the 4.
We'll get together. I'll make sure we get it on our calendar, the locations. We're going to put on one.
And the bulk goes effective with waste management 1 October.
The what, I'm sorry?
The bulk pickup to once a quarter.
Once a quarter, it's still, I think it starts still November. I think it's the contract right there. I think West Management is still November.
So we probably, they're still picking
Yeah,
up this
they're
month.
still picking
Yeah.
up. They're still in the current.
Yeah. So we probably need to get that word out to tell folks, use the dumpsters since they're going to be.
Another quick, I'm gonna send a letter out, just because in the new budget, we're gonna start billing those what we used to have for idle accounts. I'm working with, billing, to, find those, they're working through the tax office to get me good addresses for people and just send them a letter saying, hey, FYI, this is our plan, we're gonna start billing those, we're at the minimum. If you don't want it, call us so we can get you disconnected from our system. If you're connected. And I found out apparently there's people on there that have been deceased for 20 years. And we 20 years, every month we go out there, read that meter, see it still says zero, it's just not doing anything.
So we need to take care of those things too.
Probably more.
Okay. Anything you want to pass on? Department heads, Super Skip, we have anything else? Need to do library, animal control, nothing else. Okay, so let me go ahead and Charles, do you have anything you want to pass on? Nope. Okay. No problem. Hey, make sure you send us your address. Look for an email. I think Paola sent you, so you can be able to get that. Okay, informational items that we have. A few things I want to cover. The first one is just the well project closeout date is coming up. It's going to be, this is on the new well that we have on the 30th of September. We still have a few open items with that need to be taken care of. We got an update today. Matt got updated, so there's a few things that they're going to go ahead and take care of between now and then. The one thing for sure, council, that is not going to be taken care of is going to be the paint. We know that for sure, and the insulation, because they got to wait for this special paint that's hard to get. So we'll probably be getting it sometime in October. We'll go ahead and paint it and then put the insulation that goes along with that. And I know James and Reese are working closely with them to go ahead and do that. So it's still an open. They got till the 30th for them to finish off, and we'll be getting some help from our legal assistants in case if for some reason we need to go beyond that, besides the paint and the other stuff that goes along with that. Want to go ahead and once again, thanks Public Works. I appreciate everything that you guys been doing between the projects, last minute things to do with the valves, the brake and all that. Just being able to kind of balance things out and at the same time get prepared. These guys worked really hard, stayed up throughout the whole night, showed up the next day and just kept pressing along, trying to take care of the city needs and everything that needed to be done. So I really appreciate that. Richie, thank you so much for everything with notifications, getting people aware. And Matt, the same thing, getting the right notices done, the boil notices, reaching the right people, TCEQ, coordinating. I tell you, I've gotten a lot of kudos from different folks, people in San Antonio that heard about it, that I get to meet once a month with them. And they just said, hey, you guys were very systematic. Everything's flowed really good. They keep up with what we're doing. So we're setting the example how to be able to do that and working closely with our businesses, working closely with the HEB. I think we actually had some good decisions. So we were able to keep the school going, able to keep the business going, give them a chance to kind of figure things out of what they needed to plan on so they could go ahead and be working during the boil notice without any major disruptions. And they had good, solid plans with that. And I can't thank you guys enough for everything you did. That made a huge, huge difference for us.
Mr. Mayor, I heard a rumor that you were out there all night too. Is that true?
I heard they were having fun, so I couldn't miss it. So
I would say kudos to the mayor.
I appreciate that, but we all care about our community, and I care about them, making sure that they're taken care of. So being out there and just watching them. At one point, I saw James, just like he was at the well with his head down like this. Yeah, I saw him like that. I don't think he was tired. He was just praying. He was just praying. We were a little bit. I will say we were a little bit concerned. Remember, James? We were just worried about how long. Just like they found rock, over at the neighborhoods, we found that there was concrete on the valves, so they had to break all that, and it just took longer. But James kept telling me, "No problem. We'll get the pumps going." And sure enough, I mean, I wrote it down. 4:30, we got water flowing. In 25 minutes, we had 20 psi, if I'm not mistaken, and within 35 minutes, we're up to 40. I mean, it just and never.
The new well did show up.
It worked out really good, and I got to give kudos to Team Crews too. Those guys are just unbelievable, being able to take care of and figure out things, and not only with the response with the leak, but then with the valves, making sure. I mean, it was a whole team effort and just coordination, and it worked out really good. Special thanks to Animal Care and Control with Bella's Pantry. Santi, you guys are hitting home runs. I appreciate it. The last 2 months, you've been there, taking care, lined everything up. I think the numbers are going to look the same for next month. How many people we took care of. It is unreal. We go there. How many cars are already waiting for us at 7:15? Yeah. We haven't even opened yet. We don't open technically till 8. We always start at 7:30, 7:40. And there's 20 something cars already lined up waiting. And you saw how many customers, 92 last month. So, I mean, it is, and we'll get the numbers and we'll let you know. But it has worked out really good. Thank you for the extra effort and coming in and making sure that that runs very well to you and the team. And please also the canopy right there. I think it was Rachel that put it up, right? So kudos. Appreciate that. That worked out. Special thanks to the city staff for all the assistance with the tax rate and the budget work. You guys have done an outstanding just catching up. It's really amazing how far we have gotten in the last few months with all that. So, and setting us up for next February too. Matt, and I know we got a lot of help with the electronic signs and doing the training and everything else that goes along with that. But I've gotten a lot of feedback from a lot of people. Just a home run, how they get their information. It's helped us out with what we had with our water, along with advertising for other things. So I appreciate everything and working with the chamber too with that. So, and it's pretty cool. You can take care of it. I give him a call no matter where he's at, and he can update the sign. It's just unbelievable technology.
Laptop. We've got the software loaded, but they've got to enter the parameters and stuff with this sign. So once that happens, the police department will have access for immediate programming needed from anywhere.
Yeah.
So they got the NXP.
So Matt was able to take care of the signs, take care of website. It was boom, 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 and Richie was pushing out too. So that worked out really good.
It takes everybody, one, it takes a whole bunch of people to get all that done. You can't do it in there.
So that it was awesome. It was awesome. Special thanks to city staff. You guys, I mean, you talk about efficiencies and trying to figure out things. I just want the council to know. So these guys are going to be saving us around $19,000 in electricity in the coming year. In our budget, we used to spend about $3,000 plus on energy bill for this building, and EMS are tied into the meter. They took it upon themselves to actually change the temperature in here and play around with it over the weekends at night when they go home, just by changing some settings on there. And we went from 3,000 something to now $1,600 a month. Drastic change, in a sense. So kudos to all of you for taking the time and figuring out how we can actually save a little bit more money and kind of keep that so we can continue to take care of our community. So I appreciate that. That has made a huge difference on there. Little reminder before I start talking about some of the other activities and stuff to council. If we have something on the agenda and you want to provide some feedback, you want to provide some input, what I ask of you is please send it directly to our city administrator, city secretary. Do not include all of our council. It's very important that we kind of limit interaction, even though we might not be talking, but we might provide some perspective. And it's important that we actually kind of separate ourselves from each other until we all get together and we talk about stuff. So if there's an input on anything on the agenda and you have some concerns, what I do ask of you is please send it directly to our city administrator and city secretary, and then we'll deal with it once we actually talk about it in here. We got the National Night Out, so please, Richie, can you send me the electronic flyer on that so I can actually send it out? Yeah. So if whichever, see if we can put something together or something we can post, even the emblem, so we can send it out, so we can go ahead and remind folks. Also, reminder, and council, I know you have one of these. Put it on there. We got St. Andrew's Church has a big Oktoberfest on the 9th. It's from 11 to 11, pretty much. Sam, anything you want to talk about on that?
A bunch of food booths, and you're gonna have people selling like purses and jewelry and stuff like that. Music starts at 3 and it ends at 11.
And this is one of their big fundraisers. So
Yes, it is, yeah, they in the past they made so much money they already paid for that building over there. Now they're gonna start working on it and making, expanding it.
Yeah, and they, I tell you, they come handy. We have had some families that needed some needs with whether it be with the pantry or the clothing. They have so much stuff over there to help out people that are in need. So they use a lot of the money to help some folks around in our community, without a doubt. So please pass the word around. Tell folks to show up and help them out. It's a great event to be able to do that. We got Christmas decorations starting up, in a sense of working on them in October. So we're going to start, you're going to see a little bit of work on that. Our community center is going to start getting a little bit limited because we're going to need to use the space to kind of prepare ourselves for that. Just a reminder that our next meeting in October is going to be on a Tuesday. The 10th is a holiday, so it's going to be on a Tuesday on the 11th. So please mark your calendars on that. Reminder for any nominations for citizen or individual or group of the year at the end of October. So please continue to talk to your constituents, our citizens, let them know there's an opportunity for us to recognize. We'll need to put something together and submit them to provide justification for our committee to go ahead and look at that. Do want to say congrats all the way around to a lot of Lytle students, from the band to the track. I mean, all the way around. Our Pirates are doing a great job in representing our community and showcasing themselves. It's great getting the calls, people reading the newspaper in Houston or somewhere else, and I get a call and say, hey, I heard that Lytle actually, kicked butt out of track. Or, we had some folks from up north that went to the band competition that I know and said, hey, the band was down here, and they were talking about it. So, and they took second place. Yeah, I know. That is great. So please support them. They still have a lot of stuff that is going on. So if you have a chance, please go out there and support them. Birthdays that we have, I know we took care of Super Skip just in case something happens. Folks that might not be here, but we need to recognize, we got Juan over at Public Works on the 27th. And then we got Danny on the 7th of October. So I think Richie will probably sing happy birthday to him. What do you think, David? Yep, we'll be able to have some fun with that. Those are the ones that we know of. Please share if there's a few that we actually have. Any last minute? Anybody else? Okay. It is 8:46. Can I have a motion for us to go ahead and adjourn?
Move that we adjourn this meeting.
Okay, got a motion? Got a second? Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Meeting adjourned. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. Thank you.